Hi guys, what's up? My name's Sebastian. A lot of y'all might know me as Paco around the department. I work EMS up here for Faith Community Hospital. I've been up here about 3 years. I also volunteer for Jacksboro Fire Department. I've been there about 10 years now. So we're trying to do a little segment about kind of showing everybody around, making sure you guys get a little bit of training at home. Whenever you can't make a meeting or you don't, busy lives, whatever. So today we're going to be going over our ambulance. We know they go out on every call most of the time that you guys are on. So it'd be nice for everybody to kind of figure out where everything's at in the ambulance and kind of learn it in case, we're down somewhere that we need y'all's help getting something back from the ambulance or whatever the case may be. So we're going to start with the outside of the truck, and then we'll go and switch to the inside and show you all the bins and everything like that. So let's get started. So here we're on the driver's side of the truck, the first compartment on the back. We're going to start off with it. Pretty simple. We keep on the very top compartment extra pillows. We try to keep at least 3 extra pillows on every truck for any case that we may need them. This compartment's very simple. We got our main oxygen bottle here. This is a 2,000-pound oxygen bottle. So this runs into the cab and we can see our pressures on the inside of the truck. We also try to keep extra portable oxygen bottles here. And so these are very, very good for when we're down somewhere and we're not at the truck. We have a couple of extra bottles here. So very simple cabinet, nothing crazy, very easy to learn, very easy to get to. Next compartment, we're going to go down here. So this compartment here, we got our splints, traction splint, stair chairs, KEDs. So if we're somewhere and we tell somebody, hey, go get our splint bag, long bone splints, this is it. All of our trucks are rigged out the same way. So every truck, it doesn't matter if it's Medic 1, Medic 2, Medic 3, Medic 4, whatever it is, they're all laid out the same exact way. So makes it easier for everybody all around the board. So these are all our long bone splints. So if anybody tells you, hey, I need a long bone splint, I need a splint, you guys know where it's at. It's the big orange long pouch. Very easy to get to, very easy to open up, and you got all your splints here. So pretty simple and quick and easy. Next we got our stair chair. Which we don't use these a whole lot, but they do come in handy sometimes. These are for, if you're upstairs and you have to get a patient down. Obviously the name says it all, stair chair. They're very easy to get downstairs, steps, or mainly just a patient that's in a different little spot. You can sit them down, you can just pick them up, carry them outside the house and then onto your cot. We won't deploy this today, but we can at a later time, but it's very simple to deploy. So this is our stair chair, and all the trucks are the same way. Just regular bolt cutters, more traction stuff. Some of this stuff we probably won't ever ask to get, like these are just regular traffic cones. This is our traction splint here. These are all for femur fractures. There is some training, that you have to do to be able to put this on. Make sure you put it on correctly, but this is called our traction splint, and if you forget, it says it on here, traction splint. Pretty easy. So that's that. So yeah, if let's just say somebody says, hey, go to the traction cabinet for all your splints, this is where they're all going to be. So pretty easy, pretty simple, nothing to it. It does get kind of tight in here, so if you are helping put things up, just kind of be easy with it, and kind of like a puzzle piece, it all goes in together. So that's our very bottom cabinet. These boxes here, these are just our radio stuff. electrical stuff, nothing to do really here for us or any of y'all. Same thing here, nothing. Our very back compartment. So this is where we keep extra linens. So sheets, towels, pillowcases, blankets. That's on the very top. Down here on the second cabinet, we got our chair, our kid's chair. So if we have to transport a kid from either a wreck scene or from the hospital, we can place him on our cot. We also got a big tarp here. Probably not the best thing to call it, but we call them fat man tarps, or just a carrier tarp. Every truck has one on it. Very important to keep handy. C-collar bag. So wreck scenes is a big thing. You guys are gonna, a lot of the times, hey, the medic's gonna tell you, hey, go give me a C-collar bag, give me a C-collar. This is where it's at. All of the C-collar bags are gonna be in this back compartment with our linens, and it's very simple. We got adult and pediatric C-collars in here. We got our towel rolls to secure the head to our backboard. All that good stuff. So if any concern of what to get, just go ahead and bring the bag and you can go from there. But yeah, C-collar bag. These are either going to be red like this or blue in all the trucks. And they're all in the same back compartment back here with the linens. So kind of something to look into here. C-collars is going to be something that we use a lot of. So here, this back compartment, we have our backboards and our scoop stretchers. So most trucks keep 2 backboards in them, whether they have straps or not. 2 backboards in each truck. On the bottom compartment and on the top, we have our scoop stretcher. So this can be used in little different things. Sometimes when you have like a hip fracture or something, this comes in handy because you can't move the patient a whole lot without them hurting. So this comes apart and you can place it around the patient and then clips back together, and there you got it. So it eliminates moving a patient too much. So that's our back compartment. We're now on the passenger side of the truck. This is just our generator. Nothing really to see here, just, the truck generator. We won't be asking y'all to get anything from there. All right, right behind the passenger side door, we got another compartment. This compartment actually leads into the inside of the truck. So on our bottom, we keep cleaning supplies. Just basic little wipes and sprays to disinfect everything after a call. Some guys keep extra water here just in case it's out on the road on a wreck or something. But like I said, this compartment does lead into the inside of the truck. So we keep our Lucas machine here, and we'll show that when we go into the inside of the truck. Our airway bag, ventilator, and then our trauma bag. This trauma bag is basically a portable ambulance, I guess you could say. Mostly everything that you have in your ambulance, you have a small amount of it in here, so you can take it on the go wherever you're at. But yeah, like I said, this does lead into the inside of the truck, so we'll get more into that whenever we go on the inside of the truck. All right, so now we're going to do the inside of the truck. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of material in here that we'll get into a little bit. We won't go very in depth into it, but we'll show y'all around and tell y'all kind of how to be able to see where everything's at. So can you see good? All right, so now we're in the inside of the truck. As y'all can see, obviously, how to get in here pretty easy. So just, yeah, I hate this damn thing. The old trucks, it was actually bolted down to it.
Was it?
This is just magnetized.
Ah, yeah, I just...
Like this is magnetized.
Yeah.
This is magnetized. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, back to it. To start off with, PPE. Make sure always wear gloves. Gloves. You don't know what you encounter whenever you go on a run with somebody. So we keep our gloves here for the back of the truck. We got a medium, large, and extra large. Use them. That's what they're here for. So make sure you wear gloves. So this cabinet here, this is the cabinet that I was talking about from the outside of the truck, comes inside of the truck. So this is our ventilator here. We won't touch much into this ventilator. I don't see it being used on an actual 911 when we're on that we're gonna need y'all to get, so don't worry about that. Main part is gonna be our Lucas. Our Lucas does chest compressions for us and frees up a lot of hands and a lot of time. So there's a little trick to it. The Lucas is always plugged in the truck charging. So if we ever say, hey, go get the Lucas, make sure when you come in here, you make sure you unplug it before you take off with it. Because if you don't, it's going to tear some stuff up. So it's just a small basic plug in and out. It's got a little key on it, a little following key. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it fits in that slot and it charges, and it makes sure that it only goes in one way. So here's our port for our charger. Just make sure you find that groove in there, and there it is. That's all it takes. So just make sure you unplug it before you take it out. But yeah, this is our Lucas machine. Like I said, it does our chest compressions for us. It's a great machine to have, and we love to have it when we need it. So it's very important to take care of it and have it when we need it. Moving down, this is our blue bag that I was talking about. Little portable ambulance. We got meds, we got trauma, we got oxygen. I mean, we can do anything out of this bag. So if we ever ask, hey, go get the trauma bag, this is going to be the bag to get. Some of the trucks are actually going to a bigger bag, and it's going to be a red bag, so it's going to be very easy to spot. It's going to be the only red thing in here. So same thing, if it's the red bag, hey, that's the trauma bag. The blue bag, that's the trauma bag. So always try to remember that. Moving on to our other bag here. This is our airway bag. So any situation that we suspect we're going to need airway, or just really any emergency that requires airway that we're not going to be in the truck, this is the bag we're going to have. So it's got our portable oxygen tank on it. It's got all of our intubation kits, non-rebreathers, nasal cannulas. I mean, anything that has to do with airway is going to be in this bag here. So, and that's what we all call it, the airway bag. Some, other departments, other people may call it something different, but for us, somebody says, hey, go get the airway bag, please. This is the bag to get. Very simple. It's got a couple of pouches in it, but like I said, everything for airway is in this bag. So all this is pretty easy. Well, I say that. I do it for a living, so it's easy for me to remember where everything's at. But a little bit of time, you guys will all figure it out. Another thing, all our compartments are sliding doors. So both doors slide. Or there's a button here that releases the whole door up, so you can actually, have more room to pull things in and out. So all of our compartments are like that. This compartment, this is our trauma compartment. So it's got all of our bandaging, a few SAM splints here, trauma dressings, OB kits, burn sheets. So anything that has to do with trauma, this is where all of the supplies for it's going to be. So pretty easy. We also keep extra gloves in here. So like I said, always wear your gloves. PPE is big deal. make sure you protect yourself. So pretty simple. All of our trauma dressings, bandaging, nothing to it. We'll move on to our oxygen. Like we mentioned earlier, from the outside of the truck, this is where the actual oxygen comes into the truck. You can see we have enough oxygen in that bottle and everything's good, so it's secured and ready to go from when we need it. Back here, this is a little refrigerator. We keep our refrigerator meds in here. It always stays locked up. This is only for our paramedics that have access to it. So this right here is our, what we call our medicine cabinet or our med cabinet. We keep all of our meds that don't need to be refrigerated in these little bins. So everything's a little different in these, a lot of meds. But one of the main ones that you guys can learn is if we ever say, hey, go get me the cardiac box, this is going to be the one. So on this truck it's box number 2. I believe it's the same on all the rest of the trucks, but it's got your epi, your lidocaine, and all that stuff. So this is our cardiac. This is during a CPR situation that we need more meds or whatever the case may be. This will be the box to get. So just remember this, kind of look at it and be able to figure it out. A couple different colors, but there's only 3 meds in here, so it'd be pretty easy to figure out. This is all just more different medications that we keep in the truck for different situations. You know, we won't get in depth into that because there's a lot to it. Same with this. More medications in this box here. So, like I said, a lot to it, but most of the time, if we're going to be using these meds, we're going to be already in the truck. And like I said, all these medications are also in this blue bag down here. So if, like I said, if we need you to go get the trauma bag, that's going to be the one to grab. More medications here. We got our LR, our NS for our fluids. A couple more medications up on the top. Drip sets for our IVs. Just everything that has to do with medication is going to be in this cabinet here. Turn this AC on. This here, there's nothing much to it. This is where we keep kind of all of our books for our protocols, our checklists, anything that has to do with COVID now. This is where they all stay. If we're on scene and for some reason the cot's not working, the battery is, dead or something, we keep an extra battery up here. So if it's green, that means it's charging or it's charged. Very easy to deploy here. We just press that red button, pull back, and this is what it looks like. And we'll go over all the stuff for the cot here in just a little bit. We keep extra bags, urinals, extra suction canisters in here, and just paper towels, simple things. So moving on to our airway compartment. So this is going to be anything that has to do with airway or breathing emergencies, anything like that. A lot of stuff to it. We got nasal cannulas, non-rebreathers for adults and pediatrics, nebulizer masks. We got our CPAP stuff. We got 2 of each of the BVMs. So we got our adults, our kids, and our pediatrics here. Barf bags, pretty important to know where those are at. You don't want to get puked on in the truck, so make sure if we get a barf bag, get a puke bag, whatever it is, these blue bags here. Very important to know where those are at. So yeah, like I said, this is just our airway. And there's a lot of stuff to this, so it just takes a little bit of time to learn everything and figuring out what everything is, but that's for a later day. So far we got our trauma cabinet, we got our med cabinet, and then we got our airway cabinet. That's what we've gone through so far. This is just a suction machine. If we have to suction somebody, this is how you turn it on. Obviously you would have your tubing here for suction. Pretty simple, that's how it works. So radio, we don't have to worry about that. We're not going through that today. So this right here is basically all of our IV station. On this side we keep one bag of lactated ringers, and then we keep one bag of normal saline. Just all easy access stuff. We got blood draws, our IV tubing, saline flushes, so for IV starts. This side we got some needles, some syringes, and then all of our IV catheters. So needles, syringes, and then IV catheters. Pretty simple. We got all of our IV start kits. So this has everything you need to start an IV except for your catheter. Some wrapping for, our IVs, and then little 2x2 gauze for the bleeding and stuff like that. Pretty simple and a straightforward little wall. Also down here, I forgot to mention, on the outside of the truck, that outside compartment actually leads into this compartment. This is going to be our linen compartment. So you can reach that from the outside, or if you're inside the cab and we tell you, hey, get a towel, get a blanket, something like that, that's where they're going to be. Moving on to this wall here, this is just a little bit of extra IV stuff. I say a little bit, it's quite a bit, but we got extra IV stuff here. So, if we're needing 2 IVs done, one person can be on this side and one person can be on that side, and you're not having to reach over the patient asking for things back and forth. So just makes it a little bit easier to get things done on this side of the patient. We'll move up to our top cabinet here. We keep extra blood pressure cuffs here, from small size all the way to the extra large size. This is just the whole kit here for manual blood pressure. We keep sterile water, and then normal saline for irrigating, wounds, burns, whatever the case may be. This cabinet doesn't have a whole lot in it, but that's what it's for here. Move on to this cabinet. We keep ice packs and heat packs here. We keep 6 of each. So these are just, your regular ice pack. You bust the thing in there and then you shake it up and it turns cold. Same thing for our hot packs. So we keep extra red dot electrodes here for our cardiac machine, and then extra paper for our cardiac strips and all your code trends and all that stuff. So here we got our monitor. This monitor takes all of our vitals, blood pressure, SpO2s, checks, your heart rhythm. A lot to this also, but pretty simple. You got your on, you got your off, blood pressure, and then everything else is going to be on the screen that we need to worry about for today. We got extra pads for our defibrillator. We got pediatric pads, and then we got our adult pads. So pretty easy access to it. Here's our cord that we can plug in our pads to, and it's ready to go. This patch here has our blood pressure, our 4-lead for your cardiac, and then our SpO2 probe that goes around your finger. And it's all hooked up right here. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Nothing to it. We got extra blood pressure cuffs here. We got our large. Just a couple different sizes here for our blood pressure cuffs. So a large adult, and then the one we always keep on is our most regular for just a regular adult. Towards the back, we keep our electrodes in the back, and then the rest of our cardiac leads, so we can run a 12 lead on a patient. Most of the time we like to keep our stickies on them already, so it's a little bit quicker placing this on a patient. We like to keep this strapped down just in case this thing doesn't go flying and tear stuff up. All of our seats have seat belts in them, so they're all, you know, like a race car. Everybody's harnessed in. Other than that, that's about the inside of the truck. Like I said, there's a whole lot to it, but also there's not really much to it. It's all kind of, you know, labeled up pretty simple, so we can kind of, you know, pretty easy for somebody to learn anyway. But that's about the inside of the truck, so we'll move on to showing you guys how to work our cot, how to get it out of the truck and then back in the truck the right way so you don't get your fingers pinched or whatever the case may be. So we'll do that next. Alright guys, now we're going to go to a pretty important part that I've seen a lot of people struggle with, is unloading and loading our cot. So these trucks are pretty cool. When you open the back doors, the actual suspension of the truck drops on the rear end, so it makes it easier to load the cot and unload the cot. It's not so high. So we'll start here with our cot. This is where our battery is going to be. We went over that earlier. It's going to be on the side. Same thing. Just that red button, kind of like a drill battery or whatever power tool, it just slides right in. We got full battery here. So the way to unload these cots, you can see there's a red button down here. You got to push that button in, but it's still locked. So you kind of have to push this button in and push in on the cot a little bit, and then it releases. So I see a lot of people that struggle trying to do that or trying to do it too fast, but it's very simple. You just press your red button in, kind of give the cot a push, and you can hear it click, and then it'll slide right out. So then we go out with it. You can see that locking mechanism right there. Keeps it from actually coming all the way out of the truck. So then we have our controls here. So when you're unloading the cot, you want to go with your plus, hold it down, and just keep it held down. Now it's out. You want to keep it, do it again, and that lowers it another section. So then there, you can drop with it. And that frees up that mechanism back here to where you can pick this bar up. If you can see right here, there's red. This red tab here is where you want to put your finger. You don't want to put it down here because if somebody's pulling on it, it will catch it. So you want your red here, and that kind of releases that locking mechanism, and then the cot slides right out. So we can take a better look here. This is that mechanism that we were talking about. And this is what locks in that yellow hook in the truck. So we got that there. Pretty simple to work. All these red levers. The red levers is where you can put your hand and it does something. So you push that down, you can pull the cot down. You push that up, it'll push the cot up. Same as here, if we're going in through a tight doorway, we can actually place our hands here and pull these top red levers back, and it pushes that cot in. And it compresses that cot pretty easy. So once you get it through that tight spot, all you got to do is pull back, and it locks it back in place to where it go nowhere. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, because we do encounter a lot of tight corners, tight little spaces. So, you know, if you're at the back of the cot, or the head of the cot as we call it, and you can work those, it helps out a lot. All of our cots have 3 straps down towards the bottom that we secure the patient to. And then over here on the head of the cot, we have 2 straps that are actually shoulder straps. These straps come up and secures the shoulders of our patient down to the bottom. So pretty important to know where those are at and how they work. But they're all very simple, just like a seat belt basically. We got the side rail of our cot. We always want to make sure it's up when the patient is on there so it doesn't run the risk of falling. Like I said, we got our red button here. You push it in, and it's got different angles you can keep it at depending on what you got going on. So like a ratchet basically. So falls, there you go, and straight back up. This handle here, you can pull this handle here, and you can actually bend this cot up, and it folds the patient's legs down or up. So sometimes it's for the comfort of your patient, or it can also be, you know, if your patient's having a certain kind of pain, abdominal pain, you can fold their legs up and it'll help them. So moving down to, again, the bottom of our cot, we got our plus and minuses. There's 2 sections of it, so just depending on your height, what feels comfortable for you. And that's about it on our cot. Like I said, all these are everywhere that you see red, you can put your hand on. It'll work. Your feet, we got our brakes here. We got that there. That's a brake. So what that does is it locks our back tires to where it's only like a front turn, you know, it just turns in the front. And then to unlock them, you want to go there, and then now you got all 4 tires free to spin. So that's it for our cot. We'll now go into loading it. So when we load it, we want to make sure we're pretty straightforward with it and have enough clearance here to clear our floor of the ambulance. As you can see here, you have that locking mechanism, so you want to make sure you go all the way till you hear that. Then you can pull back and make sure that it's locked. Once that is locked, obviously there'll be somebody at the feet here. You want to lift, and then with our minus button, you just hold that down. It brings the legs up, and then you just want to guide it in there. Once we got it in here, you want to be kind of easy loading it in because the patient could be hurting, and a lot of sudden movements, you know, make the pain even worse. So you got it in, you can hear it click, and now it's locked in. So it's not going to go anywhere now. So pretty simple. If you know something you're having trouble with, just come by, let one of us know, and we can go through it. But it's something pretty important to know because it is something that people do struggle with. So yeah, that's it. That's the truck. Once you shut the doors, the truck will rise on its own. The suspension will go up when you turn the key on, and it'll go back to its normal height, and you're ready to go. So that's about all we got for today on the truck. We can go into some more stuff in depth better if we need to, if we want to, but for now, you guys kind of got the hang of where everything's at. You can watch this video and look through it and learn how everything works in here. So thank y'all, and let's do it.